I thought I'd say this, but I'm with Quark.
What was that?
Gray, just what we needed.
But it wasn't supposed to rain in this part, right? It's not. Something must be wrong with the weather grid.
May I have your attention, please? Obviously, the weather grid is experiencing some type of malfunction, but I'm sure we'll be able to repair it soon.
No, you won't.
You're responsible for this.
Well, I authorized it, but it was not my idea. It was mine.
Are you serious? He's serious. What did you do? Build an uplink so you could take control of the weather grid?
The grid has been deactivated. It will take 3 or 4 days to restore the system to normal operation. During that time, the inhabitants of Ryza and their guests will experience the planet's natural weather cycle.
And for most on Ryza, that means rain, and plenty of it.
But why are you doing this? Because Ryza is an illusion. Created by weather control systems, industrial replicators, seismic regulators. If the Federation is going to survive, we're going to have to stop wasting our time with toys and get back to the essentials.
I'm beginning to think there's no hope for that man. Or for you either, Mr. Worf.
Commander, with all due respect, are you out of your mind?
I think you will find me quite rational.
As rational as Klingon scared anyway.
Worf, this is wrong.
I disagree. If Federation citizens cannot handle a little bad weather, how will they handle a Dominion invasion?
Drier days on Ferenginar, and we have 178 different words for rain. Right now, it's lemoning out there. That's bad.
If you're so miserable, why don't you take your hormone and go find some company?
Have you taken a good look at the Ryzians lately? They're even more depressed than the guests.
I'm trying to organize a game of hoverball. Would either of you like to join us?
In the rain?
No, on one of the indoor courts.
Indoor hoverball. That's just wrong.
I'll play.
Good. That makes one.
Having trouble keeping the guests happy?
I've never heard so much complaining in my life.
Nobody came here to sit around in the rain.
It's not just the weather. People are starting to complain about everything. The rooms, the entertainment, the food. What's wrong with the food? Nothing, as far as I can tell. But the guests say it just doesn't taste right.
It's the humidity. It dampens the food, makes everything mushy. Trust me, there's no word for crisp on Ferenginar.
Maybe Mr. Fullerton is right. Maybe we have forgotten how to deal with adversity.
According to our figures, the guest population has declined by 30% in the last 3 days.
And you can be sure the guests that have stayed are taking what you have to say seriously.
It's a start.
One that you can build on.
You're leaving?
I've had my fill of Ryza.
Mr. Worf, you've been an inspiration to us all.
Good luck.
Thank you. You still have the uplink to the weather control grid?
Right here.
By tomorrow, the weather grid will be restored to normal. And no one here will remember this ever happened. But I intend to send a message. They won't forget.
You must be feeling pretty good right now. The weather is terrible. The guests are miserable, and more people are leaving Ryza every day.
Their response only proves my point.
I see. Ruin the vacations of a few 100,000 people to bolster the moral fiber of the Federation.
I do not expect you to understand.
I understand. Even better than you do. What you did had nothing to do with Ryza. or the Essentialists, or even the Federation. It's about you and me.
You give yourself far too much credit.
Do I? You think I'm irresponsible, frivolous, that I care more about pleasure than I do commitment. What do you think is going on between me and Arandis?
You know what I think.
That's right, I do. And you know what? You're wrong. Did it occur to you to ask me about it? Or trust, just a little?
A Klingon woman would not have given me grounds for suspicion.
And how would you know? Curzon spent more time with Klingons than you ever did.
You may have lived among my people, but you are not a Klingon. I am.
Maybe so. But you're not like any Klingon I've ever met. What happened to you, Worf? You're a paragon of Klingon honor and discipline. But when it comes to the Klingon passion for life, the exuberance, the enjoyment of the moment, you are constantly holding yourself back. Why?
That is not the issue here.
I think it is.
I do not wish to lose you, Jadzia.
Then talk to me, please.
You know, from the age of 7, I was raised by humans on the farm world of Gault. It's a sparsely populated world, no more than 20,000 inhabitants. It often seemed as though everyone knew everybody else. But one thing was for certain. Everybody knew me. I was the Klingon child, the uncontrollable one. I was the biggest, the strongest, the most fearless child on the entire planet. I fought hard, played hard, did as I pleased.
What changed?
When I was 13, I was captain of my school soccer team. We had made the championships, and I was determined to win. Near the end of the second half, with the score tied, my team got a corner kick. The ball sailed up high. Both I and one of my opponents, a human boy named Mikkel, leapt up to head the ball. He had position, but I was determined to score. I remember laughing with excitement as I threw myself at him.
Go on.
The next thing I knew, the ball was sailing into their goal. I roared with triumph and turned around to Mikkel to gloat, only to find him lying in the grass bleeding. Our heads had collided when we both went up for the ball. I had not felt the impact, but I had broken his neck, and he died the next day.
It was an accident.
Which only makes it worse. Compared to Klingons, humans are fragile creatures. I realized at that moment, to live among them, I must practice restraint.
That must have been difficult for you.
At first. In time, it became a part of who I was, who I am.
And you're still afraid that if you lose control,
someone I care about might be hurt.
that explains a lot. But you have to realize there are some things in life you can't control. And one of them is me. But what you can do is trust me. I care about you, Worf, and I would never do anything to hurt you.
Nor would I do anything to hurt you.
Who knows? I may have more self-control than you give me credit for. It felt like an earthquake. So did that.
The Essentialists.
Did you see them all run? I think they finally realized that the party's over. Increase the feedback in the tectonic stress regulators. I do, there won't be a building left standing on this part of Rye.